So the hot word around the world is AI. How does artificial intelligence play a factor in everything we do? The ChatGPT is amazing and it can help us write a paper and all of these things. But how can it help us with insurance? Today we're going to go over the three primary ways that AI has and is improving the insurance industry for the customer. The first way, which is evolving over time, and this is going to become a larger piece, which can technically hurt the industry, but let's dive into it. Initially, what could happen is we've got the places like Kayak, right? Shop for the best rental places, shop for the best blah, blah. And we have all these companies that shop the best insurance. However, you can't really trust those yet because there's really only 4 companies that allow it to happen. So when you're getting quotes from everyone in all these places, if an AI were to go into the quoting platform and take all your data, plug it in, and do all of the things for you, you're not going to get the results that you would expect. Sure, you might get a good deal. It could happen probably 25% of the time, but at the end of the process, you're not going to necessarily see the other options that you have to where instead of saving $100, you could have saved $700. So be careful when you're looking at the AI, when you're doing quotes, because it's not even close to at that level, partially because the insurance companies have a block on that. And it's not even a block on AI, it's a block on everybody right now. We typically use raters, they're quoting platforms like the Kayak systems. They're called EasyLinks and Vertafore. All of these companies that offer this are really cool and neat, but what we found in the past is when we try to let you do the quote, the customer, consumer, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't end up well. So knowing that, just be a little bit careful. You're probably looking about 3 to 5 years before AI starts to help with that quoting platform to help you get those better deals. Now, what could happen in the future, like what we've talked about before in this channel, is when you get in your car, you push the button and it knows who you are. That's really just your profile everywhere. And you could probably end up doing that with an insurance agent down the road. That's more of kind of the future piece. The main part that AI is helping is something that we're not really utilizing a ton. Essentially, there's something called telematics, and a ton of us have it. Actually, 70% of the companies that I've written in the past, most customers do it because it's a good deal. Now, you are giving up some of your data and you're letting it track you and drive you, but we're looking at it from the other way around. We're like, okay, how do I get a better deal and how do I cheat the system? Or how do I get to drive really good for 90 days and then wipe it away and I'm good? I get my $300, $400, $600 off and I'm happy. By the way, if you are looking for companies that do offer those and you can get up to 600 plus off of your policy depending on your driving habits, or just in general looking for car insurance, I'll put a link in the description below where you can do a quote and it'll go out to a live agent that can work up some quotes with different companies. Kind of nice to have because you don't have to shop and call all these companies. You don't get 100 phone calls from a website you filled out your information on. It's just that once and done and you at least know where you're at with things. The issue is we're looking at it as don't take my data, which is fine. If that is something that's personal to you and you don't want to share that 100%. But what that is, it's an AI learning tool that's right now it's not actually marking you down. Now with that company it can, but they're not legally sharing that. And when you sign all the documents, you read through the 100 pages that they give you, but 99% of the time, they're only sharing it internally. They don't want a Progressive to share with Geico and State Farm to share with an Allstate because they want to keep your data in-house and not give them the leeway that you are a good driver. That might be the thing that we need to have change the industry a little bit is maybe there is an open platform like they do now with tickets. Maybe there's one shared location that if you are going to shop, you get the best deal because you are a good driver with all of them without having to prove it over and over. I don't think that's actually going to be a future thing because your driving habits can change. But what we're talking about is that AI ability is watching your braking habits, watching your acceleration habits, and it's giving you feedback. So after a trip that you take, it says you did 80% good here, 20% bad here, and it's not telling you the exact location where you turned too sharp or you just accelerated too fast, but it's giving you an idea on that trip that you just took, usually within an hour or two it's loaded and posted, that you can tell if you can improve on your driving habits to do a little bit better going forward. Essentially, that's why they give you a discount, because if you can show that you're a good driver, then you get a better deal. The third way that AI is really transforming the industry is the underwriting and claims process. That's actually technically 4 ways, but the underwriting process is when new customers join a company, it's quickly underwriting the risk for an agent without them having to do that. Now, this technically already happens because when I run a quote and I hit that check prices, it's going to run all the stuff in the background. The companies that are smart and are using the AI technologies are having it predict and check photos, and they can quickly get an aerial view of the house and say, wait, there's a tree overhanging the roof. We don't insure that. So don't write them with us because we're just going to cancel them. And that takes the frustration out of your hands where you don't get written with the wrong company where they care about those things. The downfall is the people that normally skimp through the system, which I will tell you the truth, 90% of the people that you are ever with insurance probably are outside of a guideline of some sort with every company. That's just the way insurance is written. It's almost so tight that you probably couldn't write a perfect scenario to where it would be. That's why they have what we call gray lines or gray areas that they're okay with. Okay, the tree's overhanging, go trim it, take a photo, we'll let you continue. And then it overhangs again, they never check it again. So now they just kind of wanted to see if you would do it. Now, if that scenario happens where the tree overgrew and it fell on, and if it was neglect, and now they're not gonna cover it. But if it is something that just happened over time, you weren't aware of it, it wasn't like a termite eating away at the tree, things like that. If that does happen over time, they are going to cover those scenarios. That's one of those things where they take those losses with the wins and say, do we have too many of those? If we do, let's pay more attention to that. So that underwriting process is improving as the industry gets stricter. They're noticing things like that. And then the claims process. There are a few companies starting to automate the claims process, which is a huge benefit to customers. If you're not raising red flags, if you have a standard claim and X, Y, and Z has happened, honestly, there's some companies that 40% of the time, they're done in 5 minutes. They pay you the claim and you get to go get your car fixed, your house fixed, whatever the case is, you're taken care of. And that's really what the goal is for AI, is to make it simpler for you to transact with the company, make it easier for you to be underwritten, and make it faster to have the claims process. And ultimately, the company that has all three of those is going to win overall. Because of the way the industry is, there's not one company that does all three, not even two right now. So it's some companies have some pieces. The problem you run into is you're not getting the sales agent, and you're not getting the advice, and you're not getting the, should I file this? Now your prices are going up and down, and it's a little bit of a mess right now with the AI process and how customers see that. I would say the majority of customers are against AI because it's like, why do you need my data? Why do you need this? Why are you checking on me on this? And there's not really a stop to that. I don't think that there's any regulation that's going to put in place to end that, because they do have the rights to look at the house. They could send an inspector out, which they used to do and usually do, and they want to see the roof. And that inspector is going to catch that. So they're going to notice the trees overhanging anyways, but now they've wasted the inspector's time, they've wasted your time, and everyone's frustrated. Same scenarios for if you have a claim, there's usually an inspector that goes out and checks out the claim and is it legit and has this happen. But if the AI can just say, nope, we think this is legit, it hasn't hit any red flags, just pay the person. That's going to make things simpler if it's regulated. And as we all know, insurance has been known to overstep a little bit, and that may happen, but right now it's not. As per the norm, keep your eye on it a little bit as it is improving. There may be a scenario, and I'll put it on this channel if it does come out, to where, yeah, you can do a quote without having the agent and you still get the advice. There are ways that is happening, but it's not quite there yet. Once again, if you are shopping for insurance, I'll put a link in the description below. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.